So, what month is it?
November.
November. What happens in November?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. So, wouldn't it be a good idea to talk about gratitude tonight?
Gratitude month.
You think so? I know last year we talked about gratitude a little bit, but it was funny. I was thinking about doing a gratitude piece, and my son's away at college, and my daughter's a junior in high school, and for years, I kind of pushed reading on them because reading is near and dear to me since 1990. I've read all these books, and my daughter at one point comes into my room and says, "Hey, pick me a book to read," and she starts reading. My son, I keep pushing it on him, and the more I push, the more he pulls away. So he's off to college right now, and he took a couple books with him. And one of the books he took with him was Think and Grow. I mean, not Think and Grow Rich. As a Man Thinketh. As a man thinketh, and that's a biblical term. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So he took the book with him, and it's got some of that old, what do you call it, Old English maybe in it. And he was reading it before he left, and he wasn't going anywhere with it. So I get a call from him today. I get a call from this morning, and it was like 11:21. I had an 11:30 phone call, right? And he goes, "Dad, you got a minute?" I said, "Robbie, I got 9 minutes for you." He goes, "Well, I only need 5, Dad." And I said, "What do you got going on?" Well, he says, "Dad," he goes, "You know that book, As a Man Thinketh?" He goes, "Well, I'm reading it, and I'm in chapter 2, and I had an aha moment this morning, right? And you guys know, I've talked about it before for the new people, I'm a gardener. I love gardening, I love the vegetables, and there's a lot of metaphor in that. And so Robbie, he goes, "Dad, well, I'm reading the book, and I'm in the second chapter, or second paragraph of the second chapter, and it made me think of you." And so I'm going to read it's 2 paragraphs. I'm going to read real quick to you. And so the chapter 2 is titled "Effect of Thought on Circumstances." It says, "A man's mind may be likened to a garden," wink, wink, right? "Which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then abundance of useless seeds will fall into it, and will continue to produce the worthless kind." So this next paragraph is where it connected with him. He says, "Just as a gardener cultivates his plot, keeping it from weeds and growing the flowers or fruits which he requires, so may a man tend the garden of his mind, weeding out all the wrong, useful, and impure thoughts, and cultivating toward perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts." So he says, "Dad," he goes, "I read that paragraph, and I got to ask you a question." He goes, "Is that why you garden?" Right? And I started laughing, right? I'm laughing. I said, "Buddy," I said, "you made my day." I said, just telling me that, you made my day. And I said, "Robbie," I said, "gardening for me is a metaphor for life." He's talking about the seeds in your mind. What seeds are we planting in our mind? What seeds are we planting in our business? What seeds are we planting in our homes? What seeds are we planting? And what are they going to cultivate for us, right? So if we got all this junk and all this weeds going on, we're going to have a lot of junk in our head, right? So, when he said that, I said, "Robbie," I said, "you could say that I garden because of that, but I garden because the metaphor that I use it for, I get home every day when I'm in the springtime, summertime, and you guys have heard me talk about this before. And I walk through the garage door into the kitchen, walk by my wife, and walk out to the garden because I want to see how things are growing. I want to see how things are cultivating, and it's not only is it therapeutic for me, but it's all inspiring for me, right? So I was so grateful today when he made that call, and literally speaking, I mean, he made my day when I got that call at 11:20 this morning. So obviously, Thanksgiving is next week, next Thursday. We're what? 9 days away, right? I'm sure, I would hope most of us are thinking about what we're grateful for. Not just this month, but we should be thinking about it all the time. And what usually are people grateful for, right? The typical things. I'm glad I didn't get hurt. I'm glad you got home safe. Glad the plane landed safely. No injuries during the game. What are some things people are generally thankful for? We all know the common stuff. We're thankful. We say grace maybe before we eat. Some of us may say grace after we eat, hoping the meal wasn't bad. It's a joke. But anyway, what are we thankful for? It's the normal stuff, but what are some of the things people don't even think of to be grateful for? A couple things that come to mind for me are just a piece of awareness, right? How do you think about like what's going on around you and in your life, and you're aware of what's going on, and when you get these light bulbs that go off, or go on for that matter, are you grateful for that moment? About 12 years ago, I got into the process. It's called contemplative prayer, but you might want to call it meditation, or the Catholic form of meditation. And what all that was about was quieting your mind. We got 50,000 thoughts going through our mind every day. Some say 60, some say 40, but it's 50,000 thoughts all day. So you got all these distractions going. We got family, we got work, we got life, we got insecurities, we got this, we got that, right? And it's all this noise in our mind. So to meditate takes work to clear your mind of these thoughts and all this craziness, all these weeds in your mind. Takes work. And when you get into that practice, it doesn't happen right away. You'll be sitting there fighting and fighting and fighting, and all this noise is continually coming through your mind, and you can't get quiet initially. And Dan, I think you're meditated, right? So I'm on the same page, right?
Great.
So it can be really tough, but just the idea of practicing it is building the muscle. But what happens from the meditation, you get rid of the weeds, you quiet your mind, and then all of a sudden peace comes into your life. Peace comes into your heart, peace comes into your mind, comes into your life. And I can sit there and tell you, my mind was all over the place, crazy as could be. And I started doing this, and what would happen, I wouldn't get as frustrated as easy. I'd be at church, and the priest be reading the gospel and doing the homily. I'm like, I've heard that thing 30,000 times, and now I got it. Because my mind was clear. My mind was open. And so I'm grateful for the awarenesses that come my way. And we all need to turn that radar on and watch what's going on around your lives. What's going on in your heart, your brain. And be grateful for that stuff that happens. Even what we might perceive as the struggles, the obstacles, the negative pieces. Because within every experience, there's something to be grateful for. Within every experience, be it good or bad. So I say be it good or bad, are there really any bad experiences? There are bad things that happen, but there's good that comes from that. There's gratitude you can pull out from that. We have I talked about this last year about the book, The Magic, and it's a 30-day or 28-day exercise of writing 10 things you're grateful for every day for 28 days, 10 different things. It's 280 things you'll be grateful for. And one of the exercises was finding a mistake you may have made or finding something that went wrong and finding 10 things that you're grateful for in that experience. That's tough to do at times. You might think about it, how can I come up with 10 things I'm grateful for when something crazy or bad happened? It's tough, right? Are we grateful for humility when it comes our way? Sometimes it doesn't always taste good, right? We all know what humility means or what being humbled means, right? I would assume. When we get humbled, there's a reason. There's a reason. And when in the moment that we get humbled, like I said, it doesn't taste good. But when you step back and you think about what just happened and why it happened and the lesson you may have learned from it, then you have something to be grateful for. Then you have something to be thankful for, right? So, it's the awareness, it's the humility. When we sit down at Thanksgiving table, right, we say our prayers, we say grace. I know there's some families go around the table, say what they're grateful for. Yeah. Some people do that. Here's a question for you. Have you ever heard people in that moment at that table say, I'm grateful for my struggles? I bet you don't hear that much. I'm sure some people do it. But is there anybody out here that's grateful for their struggles? You got to be grateful for your struggles. Because that's how we learn and that's how we grow. And if we find the positive in that, then we find something to be thankful for. And I don't even like to use the word struggle anymore. Because a struggle, a challenge, an obstacle, it's all an opportunity. It's every bit of it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to get better. It's an opportunity to help somebody else. So what are you thankful for this year? Keep that. Obviously you got Thanksgiving coming up next week. But think about some of those pieces that you might be grateful for. And the mistake we make a lot is we want so much, we want to achieve so much. Sometimes we forget to be thankful for where we are and what we have in the moment. Because we're striving and we're trying to reach and climb. Instead of being grateful for what we have in the moment. I'll share with you, we've been doing this thing for, I think it's been 13 or 14 years now. I'd have to go back and check. And I remember the first one, we were in this room and there was 41 people in it, right? I'm like, man, 41 people the first time, this is great, right? It's a hit. We didn't hit 41 again till last year. Till last year, right? And I remember the number 41, 37, 33, 25, 12. And I called my coach up. I have a business coach. I called up and said, I'm not doing this anymore. People just aren't finding the value in it, you know? And she said, Rob, you're focusing too much on the numbers and you're focusing too much on who's not there. Focus on who is there. Focus on what you do have. And when we focus on what we have, more abundance is going to come our way. If we just focus on what we have and be grateful for what we have and who's in our lives now. Because we all go through these seasons. People come and people go. You know, there's a season of friendship and at some point in time they change. But be grateful for the time you had that. And the last thing I'll ask you, are you grateful for what's not even here yet? Have you tried that? I'm grateful for the awesomeness that's about to come. I'm grateful for the great experience I'm going to have today, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Today didn't happen yet. Are we grateful for what's about to come? If you have the confidence and the knowledge and awareness that good things are going to happen, you go looking for it, you'll find it. They say you go looking for money, you'll find it. You go looking for problems, you'll find it. Right? And I'll share this quick story. Anybody, you're on the street, you're in a store, you're in a locker room of a gym, and you see a penny laying on the ground. Do you pick it up, or do you say, let me look and see who's around? I better pick it. Okay. Do we do that, or do we just pick it up, put it in our pocket? Or we say, penny, that's worthless. Why would I pick a penny up? So years ago, I had that mentality. And years ago, I'm like, I got to change my mindset. If I go looking for money and I find it, whether it's a penny, $1, $100, $1,000, it's abundance. It's abundance sent your way. And I would pick a penny up and I'm like, thank you for the abundance you sent my way today. I would say, thank you for the abundance that came my way. I appreciate it. Whether it's a penny, dime, nickel, whatever. So I shared this story here before. So I was telling my wife how this works. And we were driving, going out somewhere. We had to stop by the gas station. I was telling her this whole deal, hey, you look for money, you find it, and you pick something up, and you say, thank you, God, for the abundance you sent my way this day. So we pull into the gas station, I go to the pump, and I look down, there's a quarter laying on the ground. And I said, hon, we just got done talking about this, look. And I flipped the quarter to her. So we go to JCPenney from there. We go in there, we get whatever she gets, and we stand at the counter and look down, and there's 2 quarters laying on the ground. I'm like, Deb, can you believe this? Thank you for the abundance you sent my way. Abundance is all around us. It's in our minds, it's in our hearts, it's in our lives, it's all around us. And if we think of those little things in advance to be thankful for, they come your way. Because if you go looking for it, you'll find it. If you go looking for gratitude or things to be grateful for, believe me, you'll find it. It's in almost everything you do every day, every conversation you have with people, everywhere you go, it's there. So over this next 9 days, before we get to Thanksgiving, before you sit at that table with your family, your friends, your loved ones, whatever, really contemplate, really reflect on the life you're living, on the people in your lives, the problems that we have now. There's going to be good things that come from them. We might be down on our luck and things might be tough, but if you keep prying through it, when you get to the other side, you're going to look back and say, man, I'm glad that happened. It's hard to hear that now. Look, I'm one of 7 kids, grew up in a 745 square foot house. It was pretty tough growing up, There's a lot of people that had it worse, but I'd do it again. I would live that life again because I got so much out of it and so much appreciation out of it. So reflect these next 9 days on what really you have to be grateful for, not so much what you want, but what you have. And just have an awesome Thanksgiving, and I'm grateful that all you were here tonight, and I don't care about the other ones that aren't here. So thanks for coming out, all right?